You don't need to silence people when you can just exhaust them. Because tired people don't rebel. They comply, they scroll, they nod. People think crises are random. They aren't. Fatigue is the quiet weapon of control. You can pacify a nation not by fear, but by making rest a luxury. We call it burnout, stress, modern life. But what if exhaustion isn't a side effect? What if it's the system working exactly as intended? Once, power ruled through fear. Now, it rules through fatigue. When people are exhausted, they stop fighting. They stop asking questions. They just float. This is the World Historian. We reveal the hidden forces and secret networks shaping the world you think you know. Nothing is as it seems. There was a time when control had edges. You could see it, name it, point to it. A king, a church, a wall. Life was slower, but it was yours. Work ended when the sun went down. When you stopped moving, the world stopped asking for more. Then came the machines. Then came the clocks. Then came the idea that time could be owned. Factories turned hours into profit. People became gears. Their worth was measured by how long they could keep turning. Rest wasn't sacred anymore. It was inefficient. When the Industrial Revolution spread, exhaustion became the new obedience. Workers were told to work harder or be replaced. That was the beginning of a new empire, built not on conquest, but on fatigue. The system evolved. When force became too obvious, power learned to hide itself. In ancient Rome, citizens were restless. Emperors gave them bread and circuses. Keep them fed, entertained, and quiet. The British Empire used paperwork to wear down resistance. Endless ledgers, taxes, approvals. The Soviet Union buried dissent in red tape. In the 20th century, control took a new form. Consumer capitalism. Factories didn't just produce goods, they produced desire. Work harder. Buy more. Repeat. When machines clocked out, advertisements started working. Workers finally went home, but exhaustion was rebranded as ambition. And then came the internet, the final evolution of fatigue. Now we never log off. The circus fits in your pocket. The noise never ends. The genius of modern power is that it doesn't silence you. It keeps you too busy to notice you're being drained. You know that feeling when you're exhausted, but can't explain why? It's like your mind is full of open tabs, each quietly consuming energy. Every little thing matters. A notification, a ping, a coworker asking, "Got a second?" A delay in traffic. Each seems small, but together they wear you down. The old control used chains. The new control uses calendars. Your energy doesn't disappear in one strike. It leaks through endless emails, shifting deadlines, unpaid overtime disguised as flexibility. We call it the grind. But the grind slowly erases rest. When everyone is grinding, no one asks who built the treadmill. That is the brilliance of the great exhaustion. It makes oppression feel voluntary. We choose to be tired. We choose to keep up. And when we collapse, we blame ourselves, not the system. Every system that masters control eventually becomes its own prisoner. Empires burn themselves out trying to sustain obedience. Rome fell when its people stopped caring. The Soviet Union crumbled not from rebellion, but from apathy. The modern world faces the same paradox. We are the most connected humans in history, and we are the most drained. The system feeds on engagement, clicks, scrolling, participation. But in doing so, it slowly kills the attention it needs to survive. Civilization runs on low battery. It is a machine overheating from its own momentum. Rebellion dies not under guard, but under fatigue. The harder you push people to keep up, the faster the system collapses under its own noise. The Great Exhaustion doesn't just control the population. It quietly destroys the empire that built it. The Great Exhaustion isn't new. It is just digitized. Ancient empires used bread and games. Modern empires use dopamine and Wi-Fi. Every push notification is a coin tossed to the crowd. Every algorithm whispers what you should want next. Look at social media. It is designed to catch your attention and never let go. A message pings. A friend posts. A notification flashes. You check it for a second, and then an hour disappears. Not malice. The system is harvesting your focus. Emails never stop. Work follows you home. Flexible hours really mean you are always available. Your calendar fills faster than you can blink. Even your personal life is optimized for productivity. It's not just work. Every app, video, and stream competes for attention. Even shopping apps are gamified. Every reward and small achievement drains your energy. The system doesn't need chains. Engagement does the job. Historical echoes are everywhere. In the early 20th century, department stores in London and New York overstimulated customers with music, lights, scents, and movement. They wanted you in the store longer. Fatigue became profit. Today, it is global. Every tiny interruption builds mental exhaustion. TikTok feeds, Slack notifications, endless Zoom calls. Each seems harmless alone, but together they bleed your focus. And control hides inside self-help. Productivity advice, sleep apps, wellness tips, all framed as liberation. Liberation is limited to enough energy to keep participating. Governments don't need censorship if you are overwhelmed by data. Corporations don't need chains if your attention is bought. The empire doesn't need walls. Fatigue does the job silently, everywhere. The world isn't busy because people need to be. It is busy because systems want you too tired to notice. Today's fatigue feels personal. Zoom out, and you see the pattern. Rome kept citizens entertained. Industrial empires overworked their workers. Digital empires keep minds spinning. The tools have changed, but the aim has not. Exhaustion keeps populations docile. Consider the modern office. Open-plan designs, constant messaging, meetings without breaks, performance metrics that follow you home. Every interruption feels minor, but together they drain your energy, creativity, and willingness to question authority. This is the 21st century assembly line, for compliance, not products. Even personal life is not safe. Notifications from apps, news, and social media pull at your focus. Each demands a response and interrupts rest. You cannot escape fatigue by going home. Your mind carries work, messages, pressure, and comparison. History mirrors today. In Victorian England, the urban poor faced long hours, dim light, and constant noise. They were too exhausted to resist hierarchy. During the Cold War, both sides used information overload, propaganda, news, and spy alerts to keep citizens occupied and compliant. Modern fatigue is voluntary. You participate willingly, convinced it is ambition, necessity, or connection. In reality, it is centuries of perfected control. Not being free isn't the problem. Being too tired to care is. When rest becomes rebellion, silence becomes radical. Turning off, stepping away, pausing. That is the crack in the system. Exhaustion hums quietly. It makes us docile, obedient, and complicit without a single order. When we finally notice the pattern, when we reclaim a moment of true rest, we realize the softest chains are the ones we don't see. The most powerful empires are those built on our fatigue. So what happens when a civilization runs on exhaustion? Apathy replaces outrage. Distraction replaces awareness. Fatigue replaces rebellion. Control does not need to hide. It hums in the background like static. Not being free isn't the problem. Being too tired to care is. The great exhaustion is a world where burnout becomes belonging, where people trade freedom for functionality and call it progress. If exhaustion is the method, awareness is the crack. Once you see the pattern, you cannot unsee it. The smallest act of defiance in a tired world is rest. Turning off, stepping back, pausing. They told us this was progress. It wasn't. It was control. We didn't lose freedom overnight. We traded it for speed, convenience, and connection. Now the empire does not need belief. It only needs fatigue. If you want people to stop rebelling, never let them rest. Keep them chasing comfort, just out of reach. A tired mind is easiest to rule. The most efficient prison has no walls. It only steals sleep. And when you finally stop, when you truly rest, That is when you see the system for what it is. The greatest act of rebellion is to no longer be tired. If this opened your eyes to the world, hit subscribe, and I'll help you see the world through time's eyes.